Greetings and welcome. Today we're going to be looking at the Honda GC160 and we're going to be talking about the crankcase. The crankcase is our main component down here. First thing we're going to review though is the 4 cycles of the 4-stroke motor or 4-cycle motor. The first one is intake, the second one is compression, the third one is power, and the fourth one is exhaust. So the crankshaft right in here is going to turn 3 major components. Let's open up this engine here. Let's take a look at them. Today, we'll be using an impact gun. This is a 3/8 driver on it, just a socket extension and a 10 mil, and that is going to get us everywhere we need to go super fast for today's lesson. So this is the inside of our crankcase cover. We've got our governor control system right down here. We can see the oil dipstick coming in the side there. On the crankcase itself, we can see the timing belt coming down, hooking onto the gear of our crankshaft, running through our engine. We can see where our connecting rod connects to our rod cap. I think I pointed this out in the other video. This is broken off on this one. This is what a connecting rod cap looks like with the dipper fully attached there. That is important. It slings oil around the engine. They sometimes call them a dipper, sometimes call them a slinger. So the crankshaft turns 3 major components. The first one is the connecting rod, or you could say the piston too, connecting rod and piston. The second one, in this engine at least, is the timing belt. And the third one is our flywheel. Now the flywheel is on the other side of the engine. Let's get to that real fast and take a quick look. To get to the flywheel, we're going to take off this cover here. This plastic thing with the little grates on it, this is our starter. The big plastic thing going around, this is our shroud. Talk about that more later too. The little nut was stuck to the magnet on the flywheel. So what we can see here is our flywheel. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take this off real fast. This right here is our flywheel fan. So here we've got our flywheel. We can rotate this around. And what we can see at the top is our magnet. And it's going to rotate by the magneto. All right? And you're going to, if we were to take this off, I'm going to show you on the demo model here, what we're going to see inside the flywheel here, right about the top, right in front of my thumb, what we can see is a sort of keyed gap. You can see right down there real clearly this flywheel's on a bit of a taper going out that helps keep the flywheel centered and positioned correctly. The key there is going to keep this set up on the crankshaft. You can see this end smaller and you can see the key more prominently. That's going to keep this flywheel in a certain position on our crankshaft. And on our crankshaft, again, we can see the end of the crankshaft is tapered, and we have the key in the end there. So this flywheel is going to go right on there, and that notched key is going to go right into that little slot there. Or it's going to make sure that the flywheel and the crankshaft rotate together. Now, why is that important? We want this magnet to pass by these 2 terminals on our magneto at the same time every single time this engine goes around for the spark to fire at the right time. We have our spark plug in there, which I removed real quickly to allow us to spin this freely, get rid of compression. And we want to see the spark fire at the right time every single time. So what components create our ignition on the compression and power stroke? We've got the magnet, right here, this blue thing, the magneto, and we've got our spark plug. So let's go back and talk about the cooling system of the engine. There's three components that we need. The first component is the fan. The second component is the cooling fins. And the third component is our shroud. How do the three major components of the cooling system work together? The fan moves the air around the shroud and directs it over the cooling fins. So the fan moves air around. Now it'll be spinning in conjunction with the flywheel. It's going to be pushing air out. The air is going to be bumping into the shroud, getting forced down and around these cooling fins, helping draw heat away from the engine. That's the overview of the crankcase and the crankcase's functions in a very sort of short and condensed and minimalistic view. There's more details we'll go into in later episodes, such as the ignition and the exact ignition timing and how that all works. But for this is where we're going to leave it at. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.